Hello and good evening to you all. I hope that some of you are able to be in the room. I'm not sure if you are, I'm not sure if you're not, but we seem to never know when we're in the south of France because the internet here is beyond terrible. But we say good evening to Paulie. Good evening, Paulie, and good evening, Busted. Allegedly, Orange are coming to visit on Friday. The chief of the municipality is coming to take a look at our road. We'll be leaving on Saturday, so they jolly well better fix it before we leave. And tomorrow I have a lunch party, so I have a lot of cooking and preparation to do. So I won't be going on for too much long tonight, not an hour and a half like last night, which was very jolly, but we did start early. But good evening to Louise and Nicole and Melissa and Nana and Doc and Angie and Johnny and Misty and Andrea and Leslie and Harriet. Here we are. Harriet is ready to do a quiz, so we may have to do a quiz. I'll have to reach over and get the book because I can see it on the other side of the table. Anyway, so here we are. So I hope you've all had a very jolly day. I've been running around dealing with the mad system of France. Nothing gets done here quickly. That's all you have to realize. The best thing to do is go and drink rosé. There is no point trying to do anything else because if you say, I have an appointment with somebody, they say, come back tomorrow. That is how it works. It is as simple as that. And that is what I've spent most of today doing because we are leaving shortly. We want to finish off matters. So the French, lovely people, but they don't do anything quickly. I prefer getting myself a bottle of J&B and having a whiskey and water to end the evening because frankly, at the end of the day, frustration with this lot, that's what you need. As for the other person, yes, she is sleeping, so don't worry. There will be no interruptions. Plenty of topics to talk about today, but let's begin with one that wasn't on my topic list. The sturgeon fish. The 53-year-old has just passed her driving test. I wonder why. I wonder if she wants to drive that caravan, that camper van thing that's mysteriously disappeared. Nicholas Sturgeon, a very strange woman, a woman that resembles Jimmy Cranky. Anyway, she's been on her Instagram. Who does she think she is? Tamara Eccleston, praising her driving instructor, Andy McFarlane of the Caledonian Learner Driving Training Centre. It was really important to me as a 53-year-old former First Minister, not just to have an excellent teacher, but someone I could trust and feel comfortable with. Andy was all of that and more, she said. The whole experience has taken me well out of any notion of a comfort zone, but hopefully proves that it's never too late in life to do something new. Well, I know people who are 100 years old who are still driving around in their cars. So Nicholas Sturgeon is hardly, shaking up the barrel and producing something new. Oh, for goodness sakes, Nicholas Sturgeon, pull yourself together. Stop being such a vain, pathetic person and explain what happened to your finances of your stupid party. And as for this Hamza Yousaf, he's as much use as a chocolate teapot. The pair of you, disgraceful, trying to break up the union of the British Isles, utterly revolting, don't approve of it. I think we are better together. I will always campaign for the union. The union is a good thing in our country. I love Scotland, and I've spent much of my life in Scotland, visiting wonderful places from Edinburgh to Inverness to the Scottish Highlands and Oban and many other places in Scotland. But I love Scotland. Iona, Staffa, the Isle of Mull. I want to go to Shetland. Who knows? One day I may even go and live in Shetland. That's on my bucket list, actually. The only problem there is they don't have trees. So that is a bit of an issue because I love trees. So that might put me off. But I do very much enjoy the program Shetland, and weirdly on our French television, it came up that there is a new series of the BBC program Shetland coming on. And as I've said before to you all, I recommend Shetland, the program on the BBC, the detective series, very highly. A wonderful program. Angela says, come and celebrate Hogmanay with us. Well, as far as I'm aware, Angela, you don't live in the Shetland Islands, or Edinburgh, but Angela, it would be a pleasure to meet you one day, and it would be a delight and a pleasure. We all love Scotland. What about the Isle of Arran? No, I've never been to the Isle of Arran, but I would hope to go there one day. Nicole says, come and celebrate Hogmanay with me in Edinburgh. Well, maybe I will, and maybe I may take a little tour to Edinburgh, given the other person I was meant to do a tour with seems to be doing a tour with somebody else. I will find another way of doing a tour, because I think plenty of you want me to do this, and it might be more fun to do it my way. I'll do it my way, as they say. I don't think I need to have sidekicks who don't get organized. So we've attempted 2 attempts at that organization, and it hasn't been organized. So it's better I do my own thing, I think. Me, myself, and I. Or maybe I will take June. I love June very much. You would like me to read the shipping forecast, would you, Claudia? For Cromarty, Fair Isle? Yes. I love the shipping forecast. It used to send me to sleep as a child. I used to love having the shipping forecast after I'd watched Miss Marple. So there we go. Elaine Harvey wants to take me on a pub crawl in Edinburgh. Well, thank you very much, Elaine Harvey. It would be a pleasure to meet you, and it would be a pleasure to go on a pub crawl. I know a fair few places in Edinburgh myself, the Witchery at the Castle being amongst them, and the wonderful Balmoral Hotel, which is where I stayed when I ran away once as a child and went off to Edinburgh without telling anyone. But that's another story for another day. Hello to you all. Anyway, there are plenty of issues of the day to talk about. So let's get on to the issues. And I've got bits of paper and notes, as I always do. I tend to write things down. I'm a little bit like that. But as for this dreadful Nicola Sturgeon, we want to know if she'll be driving that camper van around, or will she be having it taken away from her further? We don't know. We don't know where it's ended up, but she is a piece of rubbish. So the first topic of the day is another sad story to do with a wonky pub. We've talked about the wonky pub in the past here, and I get very upset about the wonky pub. I've never been to it, never seen it, never ever visited. Not an area of the world I know, the Black Country. But now the new wonky pub is for sale. Its name is the Tilted Barrel. Anyway, the Tilted Barrel has become Britain's wonkiest pub because the nasty vandals that bought the last one, or whoever was involved with them, burnt the other one down. So this pub has gone up to auction. They want £178,000 for the Tilted Barrel, High Street, Prince's End, Tipton, in the Black Country, which is in the Midlands. It was put up to bid with a start of 180,000, reduced to 170,000, down to 160,000. Somebody got to 172,000 and it was categorized as unsold. It is a grade 2 listed public building, and this public house has had the contents of it ripped out like the others. What is it with this nation? Why do we have to vandalize pubs? Paulie Gaultier says the Cilla Black pub in Blackpool has been vandalized. I have never heard of the Cilla Black pub, but I don't think there is such a thing, but I'd be shocked if there were. But please send photo evidence. There we go. So anyway, the Greyhound was another pub that got burnt down. And this thing is just 5 miles away from the Crooked House. It also suffered subsidence because of the mining. Anyway, this pub is now up for sale yet again. So we hope that somebody will save the Tilted Barrel. It is not as attractive as the Crooked House, admittedly. It's not a very beautiful looking building, but we do hope that somebody will come out and save this for the community. This pub could be brought back to life, and it could be an attraction for the nation, because we all miss the Crooked House. The abuse and vandalism of the Crooked House by burning it to the ground was shameful and disgraceful. And we want to save the Tilted Barrel, High Street, Prince's End, Tipton. It's for sale through someone called Cotton's Auctions, whoever they may be. But the pictures inside show that the vile owners have ripped out the interior. Shame on them. It is a grade 2 listed building. They should be protecting the beautiful grade 2 listed building, but I wouldn't say it's the most beautiful building I've ever seen. But anyway, it has some historical significance now that the Crooked House no longer exists. And even if they rebuild the Crooked House won't be the Crooked House anymore, will it really? So let's save the Tilted Barrel, High Street, Prince's End, Tipton, please. I urge you to campaign and support this. I was sent this via a supporter on Twitter. It was written about something called the Express and Star, whatever that may be. Harriet says, why don't you open a pub? It would be packed every night. The problem would be I'd probably drink the contents of the pub myself, so it wouldn't be a very good idea. I have had members of my family be publicans in the past, and own restaurants and many other things. So I do know a little about the industry, and I've also been involved in a restaurant myself long ago. But no, it's better to go to them than own them. No, it would not be a good idea for me to be a publican. No. I'm better off chatting and conversing. And going back to my writing, which I shall be doing very soon. And also, I have a lot of other stories coming out in other developments. So there we go. The mini Cheddar Arms. Yes, well, if I did own a pub, mini Cheddars would be served, of course. Mini cheddars would top the bill. But no, I support the wonderful Magnet in Broadstairs, a wonderful pub, and I will be back there probably within the week. So there we go. We love the wonderful Magnet. You'd call it the Bog Off Arms. Well, I don't think that would attract anybody. Angela wants to know if I've thought about writing a book. I am writing a book about Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine keeps causing me no end of trouble because she keeps changing her mind on many matters, so I don't get round to finishing it. But as Nick Fulks once said of his book about Bernard Buffet, handing over your book is, you just don't want to end the story. For you as the writer, giving up the book is the problem. And my problem is, I know I haven't got to the bottom of the story quite yet. And I feel a bit like Nick Fulks did about Bernard Buffet. But Bernard Buffet was dead. She's still alive. So I've got a bigger problem than Nick Fulks. So that's how I feel about my book. I'm not finished with my book yet. I'm not nearly ready to finish my book. I'm trying to write a novel also, but I'm not getting very far with that. I've written the first chapter, but it's inspired by all the mad characters I know. But I don't think it's going to be quite up there with The Great Gatsby, to be honest. It's a silly novel about similar type of people, but I don't think I'm quite in the league. So I try, and I'll see where I get there. But no, handing over a book is difficult because you never want to finish, because it's your life. Once you're part of it, it's your story, and you're part of the story, and you're into it. And I don't know how Jeffrey Archer feels, because I should ask him, but what a great gentleman he is in terms of his writing. His books are, brilliantly written for easy reading. And that's the kind of novel I would like to write, is something akin to his, because I'm certainly not in the league of some of those great writers that are out there. I cannot achieve what they have achieved, but I enjoy writing. I enjoy imagining things and thinking about things from my own experiences. So, yes, that is very good. I can't write poems, Tarara. No, I'm not a poet. I'm not Seamus Heaney, and I think Seamus Heaney is my favourite poet. I don't have favourites, but the poet I most like on the planet, it has to be Seamus Heaney. How he has his pen and he digs with it. Seamus Heaney is the best of the lot, in my view, and what a clever man. And I've been listening still to and I still recommend it to you yet again, the Kinahans on the Sun newspaper on the podcast Spotify. Absolutely fascinating, and I've been listening to that again this evening, and I've enjoyed it very much. I don't know much about them. They are horrible, evil, vile, sick, revolting people, but the story and the way it is told by the narrator, he does a very good job. So I recommend the Kinahans. Very good program. Anyway, we're not even getting through any of my own topics, and we're already at 19 minutes. This is rather bizarre. I haven't even got onto my own topics. Lee James is asking, what do I think of the Daniel Morgan case? Melissa. Well, my name isn't Melissa, so I don't know why you're asking that. But thank you, Lee James, for asking about the Daniel Morgan case. Daniel Morgan was treated appallingly by the Metropolitan Police, utterly shocking and wrong. Paulie says, I find it hard to believe that Captain Tom wrote 3 books in 2 months. Well, if that is true, so do I. Captain Tom's daughter, shame on her. I'm not a great fan of that person. Have I ever met, asks Kevin, hence Baroness Glenconnor. Now, we've spoken of Glenconnor many times on this channel, but no, I have never personally met the Baroness. She is a wonderful, delightful lady, a spark of genius and delight in our humanity. I think she's added joy and wonder to the world, and I celebrate, her wonder. She's great. What a wonderful lady. She's up there with the wonderful Patricia Routledge, and the late Betty Boothroyd and people like that. They're a generation of troopers. They add joy and wonder to the nation. They are superb, fantastic, delightful, wonderful, kind-hearted people. Let's have more people like them and less people like Katie Bloody Price. We don't need the skank. We don't need rubbish. We need more good people in our nation. And that is something that is lacking. And today I was listening, I will now move along, to a radio show before I came on air. I didn't plan to talk about this. I'd never even heard of this radio show, a Radio 4 show that I hadn't listened to, by Delicio Chaponda. I may pronounce his name incorrectly. Probably, it's highly likely I did. Anyway, he's an Indian gentleman, black gentleman, and he made fun of racism. Anyway, he talked about Roald Dahl and the word fat and how we've had to replace it with the word enormous. Well done him for calling that out. It's not just white people who are calling it out. He's calling it out. He talks about Huckleberry Finn and the N-word. And this is on Radio 4. Good for him for calling this out. This wokeism has to stop. I am bored of wokeism. Woke no more. Wake up and stop the woke. That's what I say. Woke is not positive. Woke is negative. I do not have a problem with people from any background. I have friends who are from the Caribbean. I have friends from India. I have friends from Africa. I have friends, my wonderful friend, Prince Peter Ozzy Tutu, King of Ghana, son, lovely gentleman. I have lovely friends from all over the world. It is time to stop this woke rubbish. This wokeism must stop. We must say that we all get along. I have friends who are Israeli. I have friends who are Palestinian. I have friends who are Egyptian. I have friends from all over the world. I'm a very lucky person because I get to meet people from everywhere. Now, many people probably watching this live in Texas and don't go out and meet anyone, but there you go. If that's the way your life has existed, that's the way your life exists. I cannot change that, and that's not your fault if you can't leave Texas. You haven't got a passport because most people in Texas don't have a passport. But let's create a world where we all respect one another. Let's just destroy this horrible Hamas, and let's support the Palestinians and the Jews. Let's stick together and all be nice to one another. Let's be decent. Let's be kind. Let's realize that the world is a better place if we're civilized to one another. There is no need for this nonsense. There is no need for this horrible behavior. But this terrorism and barbarity must not be allowed to rule the world. And equally, wokeism must be stopped. I don't like wokeism. That is my thing. You know, we don't need to be regulated in what we say. We think it's too much. As long as we're not saying something truly offensive, this man is right. Deliso Chaponda on his Citizen of Nowhere. I urge you to listen to his radio show. Good for him. He is a black gentleman who has come out on Radio 4 and he has said, the BNP were brought down by allowing bigoted Nick Griffin to speak and being brought down by his own dim-witted administration. He talks about Roald Dahl and fat and the word enormous and the N-word. We don't need somebody to regulate art. Art should disturb. The disturbed should be disturbed even more. That's what he said. This man talks a lot of sense. He said, I've got an opinion about everything. I think he is a very clever, funny person. Who is Tim Blake? Because you're all getting very upset about Tim Blake. I have no idea who Tim Blake is, but you're all getting... Am I sitting in a care home? No, I'm not sitting in a care home, Tim Blake. Whoever you are, Tim Blake, I don't know why this Tim Blake is... I've no idea what else he said, because I don't look at these comments. I actually talk to the screen. I'm not watching this. Tim Blake now says, please, let's just laugh. Well, Tim Blake, it seems that you've upset rather a lot of the audience, Tim Blake, but I have no idea what you've said because I cannot read it because there we go. Tim Blake says, I'll bog off. Well, Tim Blake, if you wish to make an apology to the people you've offended, please do. You haven't offended me because I haven't even looked at your silly comments. So whatever you've said has been so offensive, which clearly it has. There we go. But no, Tim Blake, it does not matter to me. But there we go. Tim Blake. No point talking further about Tim Blake. So, Tim Blake, thank you. Whoever you are, you've upset the audience. It sounds like the audience... Oh, you're now saying the audience are woke people. So, Tim Blake, please stop harassing my audience. You're not doing very well at it. You are just talking utter horse shite. So please, Tim Blake, enough is enough. Right. Now, Tim Blake has been sent to Siberia. I've no idea what he had to say, but what a bore. What a bore. And a bore should be no more. So, goodbye to Tim Blake, whoever you were. You didn't offend me personally because you didn't even get to reach me. You've upset the other people here, and the other people here are the lovely people who are so kind and generous with their time. So, bog off, Tim Blake. Pow. Out. There we go. So we'll move along to our next topic. We don't need to talk any further of that. Now, there was an amazing incident. I'm going to pour myself another drink. So please excuse me whilst I do. Anyway, never mind. I have my Johnny J&B and I have my Evian. So there we go. But there was a poor man who didn't have a J&B and he didn't have even a bottle of Evian, and he got trapped in a safe deposit box at the World Diamond Tower in Manhattan yesterday. Now, he was trapped overnight because they tried to dig in and rescue this gentleman, but they struggled. So he was trying to access his safety deposit box at 585th Avenue, the World Diamond Tower, and nobody seems to be able to explain how he became trapped, but he was stuck in the vault, and he had to wait till 7 a.m. to be freed. Now, can you imagine that happening to you? And God knows only what he was trying to access. That's my question. What did he have in that little box that he was prepared? The problem with the plating is we'd have to use our torches, said the police, the firefighters, and then they would affect the environment. So they had to leave it until 7 a.m. to let him out. Who is James? I've no idea who James is. James Duwan Powell. Right. Who is James? Right. Goodbye, James. I've got rid of the person I think is called James. Oh, well, bye-bye, James, whoever you are. There are many people who dislike me. I'm not scared of them. They don't think I'm even in the south of France. Well, they think I'm in Yorkshire. They're deranged. When I'm back in England, I'll show a setting that is England, but this is France. I would sit outside, but you wouldn't be able to see anything because it's dark. This is no point. Anyway, never mind. So thank you to you all for your jolliness and kindness. Absolutely ridiculous, these people. So anyway, so the man trapped in the bunker, well, good for him. He got out, so he was freed unharmed. Anyway, God only knows what that story is. Right, the next story I think has to be Peter Bone. Peter Bone, the revolting MP who used to have a wife called Mrs. Bone who guided everything of his opinions, and he's a disgraced MP now. You know, Mrs. Bone has left him, and he's run off with a younger woman who, I don't know if she's Mrs. Bone or not yet, but whatever she is, terrible, absolutely appalling. Busted says Tarara if they're trolls. I think you mean Tamara Eccleston. She's a troll. She's a total old troll. And she's the daughter of a convicted criminal fraudster. So Tamara Eccleston, daughter of convicted criminal fraudster. Yes. What are my thoughts on James Esposito? I don't have any thoughts on James Esposito, no. I don't know why do you ask that question, Sandy. These nuts. I believe he works with whatever his name is, Sean Atwood. Yes. He's a perfectly civilized gentleman to me, and he's never been anything other than polite. So, no, I don't have a problem with him personally, but there we go. Busted says, not Tamara Eccleston, the person here meddling. Well, there we go. Well, obviously, they're probably playing around. Tarara Brumday. Okay. So Tarara Brumday is obviously upsetting other members of the audience. So Tarara Brumday, if you wish to be polite, you're welcome to stay. If you wish to be unpleasant, you're welcome to leave. So please make up your mind. It's make up your mind time for you, Tarara Brumday, because your name is ridiculous. Let's be honest. That's how I feel about you. So there we go. Anyway, disgraced Peterbone has been suspended from the Commons. Disgraced Peterbone is a piece of rubbish. He is awful. He's appalling. He's shocking. He's revolting. He's ghastly. He's common. He's disgusting. How on earth was he elected to the Conservative Party that was once great? How on earth could the Conservative Party have such a piece of scumbag that looks like something from a Harry Enfield sketch put in it? This man is a piece of junk. He belongs in the gutter. He is the piece of Siberia we never want to have. Tarara is talking about hyenas. Now, hyenas have nothing to do with Peterbone, so I'm not quite sure why Tarara is saying this. That is not relevant to the conversation. Anyway, so I'm not quite sure what Tarara's involvement in this discussion is tonight, but Tarara, if you wish to be involved, please keep your comments sensible and relevant to the topic. There we go. Other people here are being very positive and wonderful and kind. So please, if you wish to join in Tarara, please join in sensibly. I will be getting rid of other people who are problematic if the audience don't like you. And I do apologize for the noise coming from above, from the noisy person upstairs, which I cannot control. So that was not necessary noise. That was utterly irritating, ruining my program yet again. I do apologize for the noise. I do wish people would have some respect for my program and would allow me to make my program without interruption. Yes, the person above has made rather a lot of noise. Not correct, but there we go. No one is dropping me off at the pool. It is the middle of the night, so don't think so. So please. There we go. Angela says, tell Min to put a sock in it. Yes, well, perhaps that's what I would wish to do, but I have no time to do this because I'm talking to you. So I do apologize for the noise upstairs. It's rather like being on a camper van. I've never actually stayed on a camper van, but this is the problem of having a person in the background who is totally disruptive and disgraceful. Tarara says she's not female. Oh, well, I don't really know. I think, Tarara, we are getting a little bit bored of you. If you don't wish to join in correctly, perhaps you should move along and take your comments elsewhere. So, Tarara, no, I don't want to hear about whatever you think you're doing with your underwear. I'm terribly sorry to say you are the weakest link. Goodbye. Right, out. That's another one gone. I'm sure it'll come back in another form. It's gruesome and it's grim and pest. I do not need these horrible people in my life, and nor do you. So, as Kevin says, farewell. Busted says, tedious failure of a troll. Nicola, sorry, says, thank you. Joe McIntyre says, Tarara. This sounds a bit like to the Black. Anyway, right, we'll move along to another topic without Tarara, whatever her name was. Peter Bone, we've dealt with. Well, Peter Bone, no, I have lots to say about him. You know, he always used to quote his wife. It's been a terrible thing. The 18,540 majority, I hope it's going to be overturned. He will be suspended. You know, he was found to have engaged in violence, shouting, swearing, making, belittling, and humiliating behavior and ostracism. He is an absolute disgrace. Anyway, we don't need to talk any further about him. I think we've done him. And meanwhile, Ronan Keating's wife. Now, I have to say, I salute Ronan Keating's wife. Don't know her, never met her. Her name is Storm. She is a bit of a storm by all accounts. She seems to like to deal with people who upset her. So, a window company put in a piece of glass at her home and it shattered. So, she's concerned that the unnamed company may be targeting innocent families across the UK. She claims the window glazing company are trying to wriggle out of replacing it. And she's not yet naming and shaming them, but she's a bit like, she reminds me a bit of this Colleen Rooney in that she's, you know, she takes on people through social media. Now, good for this woman, Storm. Name and shame. I always love a bit of name and shame. So we need to have more people like Storm. What's his name? Keating. Mr. Keating and Storm. She takes on people. So good for this woman. I'd say she bothers to make an effort. So cheers to Storm Keating, a woman who bothers to take on the world. And equally today, great news to hear that Meghan Markle, that piece of detritus, piece of junk, is going to be dragged to Florida to go through a court case. Now, this is only developing news, but Miss Markle will have to attend in person. Good. The Duchess of Sussex, whatever you want to call the old piece of rubbish, will be forced to go to court. It is time that she is dragged kicking and screaming to face her sister. Now, I think that her sister is a perfectly delightful lady. I've had many a phone conversation with her. She's always been very polite to me. Her father has been treated like dirt and detritus. It's appalling, absolutely wrong. And her family also. As for that mother, Doria, well, bring her in as a witness as well. Piece of rubbish. She's got an interesting history, let's be honest. So let's see what happens next in that saga. So there we go. Samantha, as Nicola here says, Samantha needs her day with Megan. Megan's sister tried to warn us long ago, says Kevin. Yes, I agree. We're all in agreement here. There we go. So here we are. There we are. The next topics are that. So yes, so that was something that was totally separate. My final topic for the evening is that these poor people in England can't sell their houses for 10 million. Oh dear. They're being forced to chop off the prices of their multi-million pound houses, and they're whinging and moaning in the Evening and Standard. Mega mansion fire sales, and they are moaning. Oh dear. I'm afraid I don't feel an ounce of sympathy for any of them. Greed has had it too good for too long. Ordinary people can't afford to buy houses. So, these ridiculous people having to knock off £1 million off the price of their houses. Some stupid man called Cam Babe and his partner Anna Tutu. Where do you get a name like that? Mrs. Tutu. For God's sake. Ridiculous. I don't feel any sympathy for these ridiculous, stupid people. Greed is not good, and greed has repeatedly proven to be not good for many people in the world. So no sympathy for Cam Babibi and partner Anna Tutu. Mrs. Tutu. They've had to knock £1 million off the price of their house. Oh, isn't that sad? No. It wasn't worth the price that they asked for it in the first place. Something is only worth what someone is prepared to pay for it. So it was never actually worth that money in the first place. So the £1 million is completely fake. So there we go. There we go. So, right, I think it is now time, if my assistant is available and ready, to move on to a quiz. If we can possibly do our quiz. There we go. I'm pouring myself a bit more whiskey, and don't worry, I don't care if Tamara Eccleston thinks that I'm an alcoholic, or Petra Eccleston thinks I'm an alcoholic. I will be making a formal complaint against the Metropolitan Police when I arrive back in London next week, and I will also be coming after you and your horrible family, because I've had enough of your nastiness against me. I don't care if I enjoy a drink. I'm not drug addict. I'm not a drug addict like some of your other members of your family. The things that your family have been up to are appalling. So don't attack me, Eccleston. I'm bored of your nasty little trolls attacking me on here. Do what you want to me. but I'm coming after you. You know, what happened at PJ's on that Sunday afternoon? Shame on you. It's all on tape, and I am going to make a formal complaint. Eccleston family, I will not be giving up on this matter. So, bog off. Yes, Kevin, the tiresome Ecclestons. The Ecclestons are now listed as a crime family. Bernard Eccleston is a convicted criminal fraudster, and he has gone down in history as a 92-year-old convicted criminal fraudster. He has committed a tax fraud against the British state, and he has been sentenced to a suspended sentence. So if he wishes to start on me, please bring it on, Bernard. I'm not scared of you, mate. Bog off. I cannot stand Bernard Eccleston. And when I used to speak to Max Mosley, he had nothing positive to say about Bernard Eccleston. He felt that the man had betrayed him when he needed him most to support him. So even he didn't like him. Bernard Eccleston is a man of the past, and his scummy family should bog off. Disgusting, horrible, wicked people. Not quality. No. But I don't really care about that. But I will be going to visit the Metropolitan Police headquarters at the weekend, because that is my intention. The Metropolitan Police officers have done not enough to support me in my efforts against the person who tried to strangle me in a restaurant, and I want the matter resolved. So I will be going after this further. It doesn't matter that this idiot lives in Brentwood, California now. I will be making a formal complaint, and it will occur. And I will make a formal complaint against the officer concerned also, because she has been as much use as a chocolate biscuit. So, no thank you. Thank you very much for that. Tony Edwards says you are drunk. Well, Tony Edwards, why don't you bog off? You're banned. Bye. No, we don't need Tony Edwards on this channel. Another nasty piece of rubbish. Again, the Eccleston family like to employ people to harass me. This is what goes away, what happens. So they can run, but they can't hide. But I'm not scared of them. They don't worry me. Terrible, stupid people. Well, we got rid of Tony, so don't worry about Tony or the audience. You have been a wonderful audience, and you've been most kind. There we go. Anyway, I'm glad I brought out a few of them. But of course, they'll come back with a different name tomorrow. That's all they ever do. I understand this. I'm growing to realize the way they operate is to use another pseudonym. I don't know who Williams is, but I don't look at these things. But if Williams comes up and Williams is rude, I'll get rid of Williams as well. So Williams is welcome to bog off as well if Williams is going to be horrible. Anyway, I think it is time we do our quiz, Harriet. So here we are. Let's find a page in our book. And if Williams joins in, we get rid of Williams. Right. So, Williams, if you want to come out of the woodwork right now, Williams, where are you, Williams? Let's be having you, Williams, because we're going to ban you anyway. You're a horrible person if you're being criticized by my lovely audience. Where are you, Williams? Williams, let's be seeing you. No sign of Williams. Oh, Williams is running away, is Williams, is he? Oh dear, Williams. Oh, now you've gone on the cowardly custard route, have you, Williams? Let's be seeing you, Williams. Oh dear, hiding in the cupboard like a little coward, like a little child. What are you, a reprehensible ratbag? Shame on you. Williams, let's be having you. Nope. Oh dear, we've scared off Williams. Williams. Williams, where are you, Williams? Nope. Nope. Well, we're not getting Williams, so if Williams reappears, please alert me, and I'll block him permanently. But I don't know who Williams is, so... Question number 1. On a UK road sign, what does a red car and a black car inside a red circle mean? The winner is Pipfield with no overtaking. Pipfield takes the point. Pipfield takes the point. Question number 2. In food, when milk is made into cheese, is it separated into 2 parts? Name one. Right, Doc Martens wins with curd. Question number 3. In which the animal kingdom, the Black Norfolk is a breed of what? Oh, you're all saying this page has been done before. Oh dear. Well, if you want to start again, we'll start again. Okay, we start again. I'm terribly sorry. You don't like the page, so but this time we better. I am the weakest link, yes, in that case, yes. You might not like this page either. In music, which electronic organ was invented in the USA in 1934? So this is question number 1. If we start again. Well, none of you are getting it right. Simon Coates says the Hammond, but it's the Hammond organ. So I suppose I can accept the Hammond. Question 1. Are we prepared to go ahead with this quiz? You've done this one too. No, I don't think you have. Well, it looks like we can't do a quiz because you don't like any of my quizzes. I think it's better we have to... I don't think we can do all these quizzes. We've had an hour of questions. You don't like any of them. Okay, we'll try another page. We will try one more time. So I hope my Debbie McGee is ready. Question 1. In food, what French name is given to a sweet pancake served in a flaming sauce of orange liqueur? And I've definitely never asked this before. I don't remember asking all these questions that I can see in front of me. Well, the winner is Anna Perkins with Crepe Suzette. And I'm not going to stop this time. We're going to carry on. Question 2. In cricket, what score is known as a double Nelson? A double Nelson. No, we've never ever done this quiz before. It is not 1-2. It's not 1-1. It's not 200. It's not a draw. It's not got a clue. No, you're not doing very well at this one. It's not 2. It's not 1-2. It's not 1-1. It's not 1/8. The winner is Simon Coates with 2-2-2. Simon Coates gets the point. Question number 3. In the animal kingdom, which male animal may be described as taurine or bovine? It is not Simon, but the answer with Linda Jo is bull. Linda Jo gets the point. A new entrant to the matter. Linda Jo. Question number 4. In literature, the land of Lilliput features in which 18th century novel? It's not Koala Bear. It's not Old MacDonald Has a Farm. Anna Perkins gets the point with Gulliver's Travels. Anna Perkins gets the point. Question 5. In which century was the planet Pluto discovered? We don't need the year, just the century. Simon Coates wins with 1930. Question number 6. In the television series Steptoe and Son, what was the name of the horse? The horse in Steptoe and Son. Name, please. Pipfield wins with Hercules. Pipfield gets the point. Well done, Pipfield. Question 7. What is the world's smallest continent? It is not Fergay or Nicola Sturgeon. It's not Peckham. It's not Don't Know or USA or Antarctica. The winner is Claudia with Australia. Claudia wins with Australia. Claudia gets the point. Question 8. In nature, by what name is the crane fly more commonly known? The crane fly. What is it more commonly known as? It is not Cilla Black. I know you all hate Cilla Black as much as I don't hate Cilla Black. I just don't like Cilla Black. I didn't like her. I thought she was a horrible person. But you dislike her very intensely. Clearly, it's obvious. Right. Well, many of you have got it correct with Daddy Longlegs, but the very first to get it on the list is Anna Perkins. Anna Perkins, you are very quick with your typing. So there we go. Right. Question number 9. In which classic 1946 film did an angel stop businessman George Bailey from committing suicide on Christmas Eve? Right. Well, some of you have mixed up the title a little, but Misty Meadows gets the title correct. It's a Wonderful Life. Misty Meadows gets the point. Well done to Misty Meadows. Misty Meadows is the winner of the point. Yeah. Right. Question 10. In classical music, what was Verdi's last opera called? It was not Aida. Simon Coates wins with Falstaff. Simon Coates gets the point. The mosquitoes are attacking. It's like having Tamara Eccleston in the room. Disgusting. You'd rather have a dog. Right. Question 11. In politics, in which year did Ken Livingstone become leader of the Greater London Council? It was the year of my birth, so there's your clue. So if you don't get it right, you're appalling. It was certainly not 1984 that I was born. No, and it certainly wasn't 1977. That's very shocking. No. The winner is Kevin. Sorry, no. It's the winner is Claudia with 1981, the year I was born. There we go. Question 12. Which stage musical features the character Norma Desmond? It's not OMG or Cats. It's not Annie. Not 1892 or My Toy Boy. Kevin Hentz gets the point with Sunset Boulevard. Kevin Hentz. Even though you have done an abbreviation, we should really only take full words, to be honest. Right. The next question. In history, which Russian revolutionary leader arrived in St. Petersburg, then called Petrograd, in a sealed train from Zurich in 1917? Question 13. It was not Stalin or Trotsky. Hey Tigers wins with Lenin. Lenin was the person. Well, as I've told you before, I know a lot of stories about Lenin and Trotsky and that, but that's from the past. Question 14. Which color clothing is particularly associated with royalty? It's not Jocelyn Wildenstein. She is the most revolting piece of trash on the planet, and her horrible little hanger-on freak weirdo who she clawed to his face. Yeah, I had a few phone calls with him. He belongs in the gutter, but no. No. So the winner is not blue. Blue is not the color. And it's certainly not Boris Johnson or red. The winner is Anna Perkins with purple. Anna Perkins, well done. Question 15. Which British national institution was founded in 1824 by Sir William Hillary? It was not the Red Cross, the RSPB, it wasn't the police, it wasn't McDonald's. Simon Coates can have it with the RNLI, the Royal National Lifeboat Institution. Him to have it. Simon Coates gets the point. Question 16. Winston Smith is the central character in which novel? A very important novel. It's not British Rail. It's not Knots Landing. The winner with 1984 is Simon Coates yet again. So Simon Coates gets the point. Question 17. Which pair of British comedians starred in the 1967 film The Magnificent Two? And I need both names in full. I will not accept anything other than both names in full. No, not the two Ronnies. I will not accept that. I need their full names. So whoever is the quickest with the full two names, they have to be the full two names. The winner is Anna Perkins with Eric Morecambe and Ernie Wise. You win the point. We need their full names. Right. Question 18. In health, cholera is mainly spread in contaminated what? The winner is Pipfield with water. We cannot accept anyone who said the answer food. So it is water. Pipfield is the winner on that point. Question 19, the penultimate question. We are now at the end. Which Olympic 2000 sport had its headquarters at Rushcutters Bay, Sydney Harbour? It wasn't PPE. It wasn't rowing. It wasn't surfing. The winner with sailing is Hey Tigers. Hey Tigers gets the point. Hey Tigers gets the point. And the final question to you all. In the animal kingdom, teal and gadwall are both types of which bird? No, it's not Tamara Eccleston. She's not a bird. She's a sitting duck. She should be thrown in the bloody ocean. It's not Fergie. It's not a pigeon. Right. Oh, well, some of you have answered. Oh dear, I must even look. Right. The quickest of you was Simon Coates. Simon Coates got that point with duck. Thank you, Simon Coates. So now we need to know who won. Thank you very much to you all. And I hope we have an answer. No, I don't know if my assistant here, Simon Coates, is the winner. So thank you, Harriet, for announcing Simon Coates is tonight's winner. So well done, Simon Coates. And thank you to the rest of you for joining in. It was a wonderful thing and it was delightful. It was lovely. I shall say thank you ever so much. We've done an hour and 15 minutes yet again. Another long session of chitter chatter and conversation. And I wish you all the best. And I hope to talk to you again tomorrow. So good night, good gardening, and as the late great Jill Dande would say, don't have nightmares. Take care. Good night. Bye-bye.